From the moment she entered the world, the skies seemed to dim as though they feared the sorrow carried by her first breath. The kingdom celebrated the birth of a princess, but beneath the golden banners and ringing bells, a silent truth trembled. The newborn child was invisible. Her tiny hand, though reaching for warmth, shimmered like mist and vanished in the light. As she grew, she roamed the palace halls unnoticed, unseen even by those who claimed to love her. Servants walked past her light shoes a whisper, and her parents, though they adored her deeply, could never hold her or meet her eyes. Loneliness clung to her like a shadow without a form, and in the darkest corners of her heart she wondered if perhaps the world had not simply failed to see her, but chosen to forget she existed at all. If you believe in kindness, second chances, an unseen heart deserving love, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It truly helps this channel grow. The girl who would become known as the Invisible Princess grew up in a palace overflowing with beauty, but lacking the one thing she needed most, a presence. Every morning she watched the maids braid the hair of other royal children, their laughter echoing like a song she could never join. When she passed the grand mirrors of the palace, nothing reflected back except the empty world behind her. She used to hold her breath, hoping for a miracle, hoping that perhaps she had appeared at last, even for a heartbeat. But the mirrors remained cold and blank, her existence erased even from her own sight. Her parents loved her fiercely, yet their love arrived in the form of bedtime stories recited to an empty bed, birthday gifts placed gently upon a chair where they imagined she sat, and desperate whispers to the wind hoping she could hear them. But a child who is never seen eventually believes she is unworthy of being looked at, and the princess began to slip away emotionally long before she grew older physically. She wandered the palace gardens like a ghost, touching petals that never bent under her fingers, watching seasons bloom and die without ever feeling the heat of summer or the chill of winter. People said she was blessed with a rare magic, but to her it felt more like a curse carved into her existence. Time moved around her, but never with her. The world danced in colors while she floated between them, muted and forgotten. She watched festivals unfold, where lanterns brightened the sky and families held one another close, and she felt a longing so deep it felt like an ache in her bones. She wondered what life would be like if someone, just one person, could see her, not as a rumor, not as a legend, but as a breathing, feeling soul longing to be known. Yet years passed, and the palace remained a world where she existed only in hushed stories and fading hope. But change often arrives quietly, the way dawn softens the horizon before the sun breaks through. And for the invisible princess, change came the day the kingdom welcomed a young artist from a distant land. He was brought to the palace to paint royal portraits, capturing the essence of each family member on canvas. The princess watched silently as he arrived, carrying brushes and colors that seemed to bring life even to the dusty corners of the hall. She followed him, curious about the way he saw beauty in everything, the cracks in old marble, the way light touched curtain fabric, the glow of simple smiles between strangers. He captured details the world often ignored, and she found herself drawn to someone who had the rare ability to notice. For the first time, she felt the small spark inside her, not hope, but something gentler, a question she had never allowed herself to ask: could someone like him someday notice someone like her? She observed him as he set up his easels, mixing colors with patient precision, studying faces with a tenderness that felt almost sacred. She lingered beside him during long painting sessions, imagining what it would feel like if his eyes could settle on her, if his brush could bring her unseen form into a world of colors. She knew it was foolish to wish for the impossible, yet the heart is stubborn, especially when starved of affection. Days turned into weeks, and the princess found herself following him everywhere, though he never noticed her. But one afternoon something shifted. As he worked on a portrait of the queen, the sunlight streaming through the windows suddenly drifted toward where the princess stood. The dust particles danced around her shape, swirling as though tracing a faint outline of her invisible body. The artist paused, watching the strange shimmer with curiosity. His eyes narrowed slightly, and for the first time in her life, the princess felt seen. Not completely, but enough for a flicker of hope to settle in her heart. That moment changed everything. From then on, the artist often looked around cautiously, sensing something, a presence he could not name, a warmth in the air, a gentle shift in the light. Whenever she was near, the princess found herself drawn closer to him, and though he could not truly see her, he sensed her existence like a soft heartbeat in the silence. She began to feel less like a ghost and more like someone who mattered, someone whose presence, even if unseen, had weight in the world. Slowly, the invisibility felt less like a prison and more like a layer waiting to be peeled away. She began spending more time outdoors, exploring the kingdom, feeling the breeze, or imagining it as she wandered through bustling markets and busy town squares. The artist, unknowingly, had ignited a spark inside her, awakening a part of her that still wished to belong. She observed families, friendships, laughter, tears, all the pieces of life she longed to touch. She saw that the world held countless souls who also felt unseen, unnoticed, forgotten, and she began to understand that invisibility was not always literal. Some people were surrounded by others yet lived as though they didn't exist. That understanding softened her heart, making her believe that perhaps she was not alone in her invisibility after all. As she grew emotionally, strange things began to happen. When she felt joy, the air shimmered softly around her. When she felt sadness, raindrops seemed to fall heavier in her presence. When she felt hope, petals from nearby flowers would drift toward her unseen form. And when she was near the artist, the faintest outline of her silhouette appeared, like mist slowly taking shape. The kingdom began whispering about the mysterious phenomenon, calling it a blessing sent by ancient spirits. The artist became especially attuned to these moments. Though he never fully understood the magic surrounding him, he felt comforted by it, as though an unseen friend walked by his side. And the princess, watching him from the corner of every room, felt her heart bloom with silent affection. She knew it wasn't love, not yet, but it was something alive, something warm, something she had never been allowed to feel before. Then came the moment that changed everything. The artist was assigned to paint a mural representing the soul of the kingdom. He spent days searching for inspiration, wandering through forests, rivers, and villages, but nothing sparked the depth he needed. One evening, exhausted and discouraged, he sat alone in the royal garden. The princess approached him, knowing he could not see her, but wishing she could somehow comfort him. She stood beside him silently, her heart reaching out in a way words never could. And then the impossible happened. A breeze swept through the garden, swirling leaves around them. The glow of sunset wrapped her invisible shape in soft colors, revealing the faintest outline of her presence. The artist gasped, not in fear, but in awe, as he witnessed the ethereal trace of a girl shaped by light and longing. It was only a glimpse, a moment so brief it could have been a dream, but it was enough to show him that beauty existed in forms beyond the human eye, enough to awaken his heart to a presence he had unknowingly cherished for weeks, enough to make him realize that someone had been walking with him, silently sharing his world, hoping to belong. Inspired by that fleeting encounter, the artist returned to his mural with renewed spirit. He painted a figure made of light, a guardian of the kingdom, an embodiment of hope. The princess watched as he poured emotion into every stroke, capturing her essence without even knowing her story. She felt something within her shift, like a lock turning after years of being jammed, and for the first time in her life, she believed she was worthy of being part of the world. As the mural neared completion, the artist's connection to the unseen presence grew stronger, and the princess's form began to grow clearer, not fully visible, but no longer lost completely. Her invisibility loosened its grip with every heartbeat, every breath of hope. She realized she was becoming visible not through magic, but through this simple power of being seen emotionally, truly seen, by someone who cared even without understanding why. And then came the day the mural was unveiled. The kingdom gathered to witness the artist's masterpiece. gasping as they beheld the luminous figure that seemed to watch over them. Many felt a warmth settle in their hearts, not knowing the truth behind it. And as the crowd admired the painting, the princess stood nearby, her form shimmering faintly with growing clarity. The artist turned his head slightly, sensing her presence, feeling a powerful connection rising within him. In that silent moment, she felt more real than she ever had before. Her heart swelled with emotion, pride, gratitude, hope, and in that swell her invisibility broke completely. Her shape solidified, her body emerged, and for the first time since her birth, her reflection appeared in the eyes of everyone around her. Gasps filled the hall. The kingdom froze in stunned silence, and the artist stared at her with tear-filled wonder. She wasn't made of mist or magic. She was human, real, beautiful, fragile, and alive. Her invisibility had been undone not by spells, but by being seen, valued, and loved in ways that transcended physical sight. The kingdom wept in joy. Her parents held her for the first time, and the artist, who had unknowingly saved her, felt a profound warmth wrap around his heart. She walked through the kingdom with new-found presence, touching lives, healing hearts, and reminding people that countless souls around them were invisible in their own ways, overlooked, unheard, forgotten, and that love was the greatest magic capable of bringing them back into the light. Her story became a legend, not because she was once invisible, but because she proved that even the faintest soul can shine when someone believes in them. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and share. Your support means more than you know. Special request to comment below. I believe every invisible heart deserves to be seen. And with that, the invisible princess stepped into the world not as a forgotten shadow, but as a symbol of hope, proving that even in the quietest places of the heart, love can make anyone visible.